Hello, my name is Tiffany Higgins. Today I will be helping you better understand what an IEP is and what to expect during the IEP process. You're probably wondering what an IEP is. Well, IEP stands for Individualized Education Program or Plan. An IEP is a legal document that is created for a specific student with disabilities that will address a student's unique abilities and needs to better help them access the general curriculum. IEPs should address how a student learns, what services will be provided to the student, and what will help the student learn more effectively. A student isn't just given an IEP though, it is an entire process. In order for a student to be eligible for an IEP, the student must first have one of the 13 documented disabilities listed in the Individuals with Disability Education Act or IDEA. The IDEA is the law that makes the Free Appropriate Public Education or FAPE. A lot of acronyms, I know. The IDEA governs how states and public agencies provide services to students. There are 7 steps to the IEP process. They are pre-referral, referral, identification, eligibility, development of the IEP, implementation, and reviews and re-evaluation. During the referral step, different things are examined and assessed. This step is used to avoid unnecessary evaluation and placement by examining and documenting challenges and difficulties, current classroom accommodations, different teaching methods, and to observe the development of the student. In this stage, schools are required to support children from ages 3 to 21. During this stage, teachers and parents and or guardians can voice their concerns about the student. The next step is the actual referral step. This step occurs when things that were implemented in the pre-referral stage fail. Getting to the referral stage means that the student is officially referred for special education services. During this step, data is collected. Some examples of data can be observations, grades, test scores, etc. The next step of identification takes place where it is determined if your student has a qualifying disability. During this step, the team, which is usually consists of teachers, school psychologists, school representative, possibly an assistant principal, as well as the head of special education for the school. At my school, that person is called an SSF. Meet to discuss current interventions and if they're working or not, plus possible evaluating of the student. During this meeting, it is determined if interventions are not working, then the student will be scheduled for evaluation. Evaluations must take place within 60 days of the actual referral. During this stage, the school psychologist will conduct the evaluation of the student to determine whether or not the student qualifies. The date to review the results are determined during this stage at that meeting. The next step is eligibility. This step takes place within 30 days of the evaluation. During this step, the results of the student's evaluation are discussed with the same team as before, but now bringing in the parents and or guardians. As mentioned earlier, students will be eligible if their evaluation falls within at least one of the 13 disabilities listed under IDEA or IDEA. Some of these disabilities categories are autism, developmental delay, speech and learning impairment, emotional disabilities, visual impairments, etc. If students did not meet the qualifications for an IEP, it is possible they could receive assistance and accommodations through a 504 plan, but that's an entirely different video. For those that do qualify, then we move to the next step, which is the development of the IEP. But before jumping into that step, I want to make sure that parents are aware that if they do not agree with the results of the evaluation, then they have the right to get an independent education evaluation or an IEE, which would be at no cost to the parent This IEE will be conducted by a neutral third-party evaluator. Now back to the process. The next step would be to develop the IEP. During this step, an IEP team is formed, typically with the same people that were already mentioned from the previous two meetings. During this meeting, parents are allowed to bring along an advocate or a lawyer for their student. During this meeting, the IEP is formed. One part of the meeting is ensuring that your student is placed in the least restrictive environment, or LRE. There's another acronym for you. This means that your student will have a chance to learn in an environment with students of their age without disabilities. In the IEP itself, goals for the student to work towards and accomplished are listed. Parents are encouraged to give their input throughout the entire IEP meeting, as you all see the students more than the educators and have known them longer. Your knowledge can be extremely insightful, so make your voice heard. Remember, this meeting is for your student, and you are their advocate, so make sure you and them are heard. Once the IEP has been written and approved, the next step is implementing the elements within the IEP. During this step, teachers legally must follow the accommodations and modifications that were listed. This takes us to the final step in the process, which is reviews and reevaluations. During this step, IEPs are reviewed annually to ensure that the student is making progress towards those set goals and if it is being effective. If you as a parent have concerns about a student and the progress they are making towards their goals, or about anything concerning their IEP, you have the right to ask for a review anytime. During this stage, a student is also required to be reevaluated every 3 years to determine if they are still eligible to receive services. Now, I know that was a lot. That was essentially a watered down version of the process. I hope that helped you some into getting a basic understanding of the IEP process and what all those many acronyms meant. I do encourage you to do more in-depth research on the topic by searching for IEP process via your local state website or the U.S. Department of Education site. I always like to leave you with this. You are the student's advocate, and they rely on you to be their voice, even before they find their own. So let's put the students first and do everything in our power to make sure they succeed. I truly appreciate you having taken the time out of your day to listen to the IEP process, and I hope that you gain more information that would assist your student. Thank you. Bye.